guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. This is from a guy. He is over in the UK. He is presently in his mid-50s, and he shares his story from like a decade ago when he was in his mid-40s, 46 I think, about how he met this gal. She showed a lot of strong interest in him, pretty gal for her age, and upon picking her up for the date, immediately the crazy and the red flag started to manifest. And instead of handling this the way a lot of guys do, and you guys know what I'm talking about, this guy, after seeing enough red flags, handles things accordingly. And that'll be an entertaining one to go over here, guys. Kind of a refresher about a lot of the red flags that a woman can show you pretty quickly. Shit tests they throw at you to see if you're going to comply. And how, guys, you know, at the end of the day, many of you guys have been on bad dates. There's a point you cut your losses. Okay? Didn't work? And you move on. This is what backs up also why I say the one drink rule for a first date. That way then it's quick and you're out of there. And I might add, it's usually a good idea that you might even better meet them at the place. Don't pick them up because then you don't have to deal with driving them back. If you meet them there, they can Uber home, Lyft home, take a taxi, a bus, whatever. You don't have to drive their crazy ASS back. So it's a good refresher, good entertaining story from a funny guy, good refresher about how to handle things, and a guy did things right. He says, "Good afternoon, SSM. I have a tale to recount about an encounter I had about 10 years ago with a very strange woman, and how throughout this encounter, major character flaws became apparent, and how I disentangled myself from a potential disaster." Well, you certainly did, but there actually would have been an easier way to handle this, which I'll point out later in the story. First, a little bit about me. I'm English, born in Essex, which is the most populous county in the UK, and the second largest in land area. It borders London to the west, Suffolk to the north, and Hertfordshire to the northwest, and across the Thames, Kent, which is roughly southeast. Okay, we can all get our map out now. At the time of this account retold here, I was 46 years old, and it wasn't my first rodeo. I'm 6'2", and at the time I was 225 pounds and in very fair shape. Due to hard cardio and intense weight training and a good diet, which I learned years before when I trained extensively with an IFBB pro bodybuilder, thanks to my education. Thanks to the education, M. Okay, 6'2", 225, you're a big solid dude. That's awesome. Notice he said this was 10 years ago in his mid-40s, so he's staying strong then. All guys should exercise in one form or another. I'm a construction tradesman, and my family is fairly comfortable, with some nice property and income from said property. Like all good stories, this ain't no shit and all gospel truth, really. It all began on an early spring morning at a hotel in the county of Kent in southeast England. The hotel offered an excellent early breakfast and was the only location to do so in the area. I was heading to a restricted access research and development center that dealt with medical pharmaceutical research, and that's all I can say and will say about that. Okay, fair enough. Although you said you're a construction tradesman, but okay. I entered the hotel, which is near the Kent town of Maidstone, and proceeded to eat a good breakfast of coffee, oatmeal porridge, toast, and fruit. As I was finishing up, a tall, slim, dark-haired gal of indeterminate age approached my location and smiled a broad smile in my direction. I, somewhat taken aback, turned around to see if she was smiling at someone behind me, and she was not. Yeah, how many of you guys have done that? Girl smiling at you, instantly you're like, me? I got up and after paying, left and went to work, not giving any further thought as to what just transpired. She's probably like, what? He didn't chase after me? Following Monday, I was going back to the site in Kent and again stopped for breakfast at my usual time, approximately 5:45 in the morning at the hotel. After breakfast, I was finishing my coffee, and lo and behold, the tall, dark gal approached my location in the dining room, smiling a bright, white smile right at me. There was no doubt in my mind that this smile was aimed directly at me. Okay, you stud. I got up, proceeded to the cash register, and tendered a 20 to pay for my meal to one of the other staff on the early shift. The author of that smile had also come to the cash register as well, and when her colleague excused herself to make change at the register, the girl handed me a slip of paper with her number on it and asked me to call and arrange to take her out. Well, obviously, she really found you attractive. Now, I swear to God, some guys are going to say, this is bullshit, that never happens. No, There are women that will smile at a guy, and if the guy hasn't approached her, will chase him, go up and approach him, make it easy for him, and even so much as give him the number. Yes, that happens. It's happened to me. Yes, it happened to me. It could happen to anybody else. I went about my business, and a week or so later, I called and arranged a meeting. See? A week or so later. This guy was in no rush. It's probably driving her nuts. Why did this guy call me? I'm so beautiful. Every other guy calls me in 5 minutes. When I drove to collect her, she informed me that I should wait for her in the street as she lived with 2 men that were acquainted with her ex and did not want to get in the gist for the rumor mill. Red flag. She's living with 2 other dudes and you have to pick her up down the street and all that. Red flag. This seemed a little odd to me and a faint bell tingled in the back of my mind. Tingled? That should have been like the Gong Show type of bell ringing. So I complied and we proceeded to a nice bar in town. On entering, I asked what she would like to drink, and here came the next bell, much louder than the first. She asked for a large vodka and Coke. I thought, here we go, another lush. But I ordered her drink and something soft for myself as I don't drink alcohol and I was driving. So they met up for a drink or dinner and immediately, boom, she's down in the alcohol, huh? We sat and talked for a while, and I discovered she was Portuguese and 40, divorced, and had a 16-year-old son from her marriage that lived with her parents in Portugal. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, another red flag. Single MOM. Now he's 40. I think he said he's mid-40s at the time. She's 40 years old. Good looking for her age. Okay, fair enough. But living with 2 guys, and she's a single mom, and now she's immediately down that alcohol. No thanks. More red flags. By this time, I knew this would be our only evening out together, so I thought, to hell with it. I've come a long way. I might as well make the best of it and chalk it up as an experience. Yeah, I'd probably leave, but I'm an asshole. I hadn't eaten, so I asked if she'd like to get a meal, and she said yes. There are some chain restaurants a short walk away. We entered a Wagamama and ordered food and drinks, just noodles, but another large mixed drink for her. Yeah, I know, slap. But I was going with it because I suspected a little horizontal work was highly likely at the close of play. In the middle of eating, her phone rang, and she said it was her son and excused herself to take the call. She exited the restaurant and stood outside for 15 minutes. 15 minutes, huh? Remember I tell you guys, meet up for one drink? Now this guy's like, all right, I'm going to make the best of this. I'll go to Wagamama, whatever the hell Wagamama is. I guess this is a UK chain. And had your noodles, and I hope they were good. But she's out there for 15 minutes. What does that tell you about her? That is a shit test. I can just diss this guy in the date. Yeah, she initially was interested in you, chased after you, gave her your number and all that. But now she's pulling bullshit to see what you'll put up with. I would have finished the food and walked out. 15 fucking minutes waiting. I finished my food, and in irritation, I was about to pay and leave when she re-entered and continued eating, all the while complaining that her son had pressured her about a video game that he wanted, and how she had bought him many games and that they were expensive, at least £50. Gee, what is she hinting at? Again, the alarm bells rang. This thing was trying to brace me for 50 quid. I thought then, how much worse can this evening get? Well, keep listening because that was just the beginning. Yeah, bro. Remember in the beginning I said, I said there's other things you could have done? Yeah, left. Guys, women will have no problem walking out on a guy on a date if she doesn't like him or, in her opinion, he's behaving in a way she doesn't appreciate. So can a guy. You know? She's obviously got a lot of red flags. The second she said that whole thing about living with a bunch of other guys, I would have been out of there. I would have hightailed out of there. Not going to work. I excused myself to visit the lavatory, and when I got back, 90 seconds later, she asked somewhat sarcastically, had I been talking to a gym friend who was incredibly hot and wealthy about our evening. God, this woman is nutty as a squirrel shit. She's out for 15 minutes talking to her son, who she claims is her son. 15 minutes while you're sitting there eating your noodles from Wagamama, whatever it's called. And you go to the bathroom for 90 seconds, she's giving you shit. Yeah, she's mental, but she's also shit testing you. I had shown her a picture of my gym friend after her first excursion outside as a means of bursting her ego, but what the hell, I'm a prize here. So I pay for the bill, not a lot, 25 quid, and we leave. She asked if we can get another drink, and I said it may be difficult as it was getting late. No, we're not getting a fucking drink. I'm taking your crazy ass home. She said she knew a place and was close, so we drove to a local hotel that had a bar. Why? The bartender was a young Portuguese guy, and we hit it off immediately. He just qualified in his chosen trade, and we spoke of his options for work locally, as I knew one or two companies in the area that could use his particular skill set. Bella, not her real name, but it'll do, became irritated at not being the center of attention and proceeded to kiss me for the first time, and taking my hand, placed it on her Charlie's, slang for tits. Attention and validation, huh? Really? Now, I'm sure your hand didn't mind going on her big tits, and she's kissing you and all that, and you're thinking, okay, I'm getting some ass. This guy's thinking, all right, if I'm spending my time with this lunatic who's proven to be crazier and obviously an a-hole as time goes on, maybe I at least can tap this one. But many of us have been down that road before, like, nope, it's not worth it. What the fuck is wrong with this woman, I thought. Flashed through my head and the bartender as I looked with alarm and amazement at one another. We left at her behest shortly afterwards. I thought, great, I can get a shot of nut out of this and get home. All thoughts of sexual encounter were long gone by this time. I just wanted to point the nose of the car homeward and let that fine piece of Stuttgart engineering get me far from this crank. All his English terms are hilarious here. Or you shouldn't have gone out with her in the first place. The second she was talking to living with other guys, boom, gone, or other things. The prospect of driving my then new sports car home was eminently more appealing than spending the night with this crazy person. I drove in the direction of her home, and just to top it off the evening, she asked me to stop and buy her a bottle of vodka. Bitch, I'll stop, and you can get out and buy your own fucking vodka, and then I'm going to hit the gas and get out of here. The brass neck of this woman was incredible. I retorted that at that late hour it would be impossible and continued to her home. On arrival, I thanked her for a nice evening and said I'd be in touch. Yeah, No good. I wasn't getting rid of her that easily. Let me guess, you want to get out of the car. How many of you guys have been in a situation where you've been on a date, you're not into her, and you drop her off? This is before Uber or anything like that, or meeting someplace, and she just won't get out of the car. I've had a few times like that where the girl's obviously into you, and you just want her to get out, and you're sitting there, and I've had times where I'm literally like looking out the window this way, hoping she gets the fucking point. I had a girl get so pissed off because I wouldn't kiss her, she stormed out of my car one time. So we sat there talking for the sake of it until, in frustration, I asked her outright, What is it with you, Bella? Sex? What do you want? She replied that, well, it would be nice. I asked her why she hadn't indicated this at the hotel, to which she proceeded to stammer, and yeah, but until I told her to go in, get her toothbrush, and change of clothes while I waited. Good one. With this, she again asked for a bottle, to which I replied in the affirmative. At this point, I wanted her to get out of the car without her doing spiteful damage. She's really pushing this bottle of vodka, huh? She aggressed, and I started the engine with what seemed to me like a rev roar from the flat six, and drove away. In other words, she finally got out, and boom, you're out of there. I had escaped without incident, and before I got far, a text message came through. Text message said, "Honey, get me a bottle of vodka." He says, this elicited a bellow of laughter from me. As I reached the M25, another text message arrived with an irate and entitled, "Honey, I'm waiting." To which I thought, don't hold your breath. I then proceeded to block and delete her number and thank whatever luck I had that I was out of harm's way. I would have put it, this is 10 years ago, so we're talking 2014. She can obviously try to stalk you. I'm sure she's taken note on things about you, the make and model of your vehicle, other things about you. Who knows what she's found out about you to track you down. By this I mean, can you imagine the shitstorm this individual could have brought into an unsuspecting simp's life? As you might guess, I'm a decent man and kind, but no blue pill simp mangina. I made my dumb mistakes, but I've known too many women over the years to fall for their line of BS, and I hope this story illustrates what men need to watch out for in any encounter with the hell spawns. Well, it does. But again, you wouldn't have this story today if you just would have, even after her mention, even if you picked her up and she mentioned she lived with a bunch of guys at the restaurant, the second her bullshit started, you just got excused yourself and left. She'd take a cab home, a bus home, not your problem. Don't misunderstand me. I've known one or two truly great ladies in my tenure, and I take responsibility for not succeeding in those endeavors. I am not the marrying kind. I don't like being tied down, but they were good, decent gals, loyal, hardworking, and feminine, which is hard to find these days. Anyway, that was the last time I bothered with taking a woman out, and I feel no great loss. I have good friends, my work, exercise, and a sense enough to know how well off I am. Thank you for your efforts on the behalf of men, SSM. We are brothers, all in all, and should be sure to put bros before the garden implements. Keep on telling it like it is, and tell the boys to keep their dignity, and when in doubt, walk away. Amen. It goes without saying, I like to stay anonymous to protect the guilty and innocent, have nothing to worry about. Well, there you go, guys, and don't worry, I will never reveal anybody's personal information on this channel, ever. So there you go, guys. Another story of the crazy one. Now, this guy, fortunately, one date. Right there, one date. Now, a lot of guys out there that, the nice guys, the simps, the blue pill guys, the guys that are clueless, they would have fallen for all her crap, you know? I would have been out of there before that date really started, given what I know, but anyhow. But they would have, bought her the vodka, offered her money to buy her son video games, which probably wasn't for her son, it was probably for her side guy. And it would have kept seeing her, because thinking that, oh, she's a pretty 40-year-old, and, this is the best I can do, and it would have gotten way, way worse, Well, this guy's been around the block. So there you go, guys. You're on a bad date, in my opinion, get out of there. There's no point in staying, particularly if you're in a busy urban area where you can get Uber or Lyft or a taxi or a goddamn bus, or she can find her way home hopping on a pogo stick. I don't care. Don't waste your time. But yes, good for him. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.